boys and girls, welcome back to Miss Keedy's Corner. For today's episode, I want to do a craft on how to make binoculars for bird watching. And I'll tell you why this idea came into my mind. Lately, I've been spending a lot of time outside with Champ and going for nature walks, and the weather has been pretty good. Yes, it's been a little bit rainy, but the temperature is starting to go up, and that just makes me want to stay outside all day. So I've been outside a lot and I've been hearing a lot of different sounds that are a lot different than wintertime. When I'm outside, I hear a lot of birds chirping. And so at my house, we have a lot of bird feeders and for different types of birds. And so I thought, how great would it be if we could do some bird watching together? So this episode today is going to be a craft video on how to make our own set of binoculars to go bird watching at our houses. And this is very easy. You don't need any specific materials that you wouldn't otherwise have in your house. And if you don't have any of these materials, you can substitute it for something else. Or if you'd just like to watch this video, you're more than welcome to see how you create a pair of binoculars at home, and maybe you want to save this for a different day. So I have the materials here. The first thing that you would need is just a roll, an empty roll of paper towels, or you can use toilet paper rolls. I just have a paper towel roll. So that's our first material. Point this down so you can see all of them. You're going to need some tape, just regular tape, doesn't matter what kind. You are going to need some construction paper, and I picked two different colors. I picked green and purple. You can pick whatever colors you would like. It can be oops, it can be the same color or it can be different colors. And you don't need big pieces. I love to use the scraps that I have, so I just had these two scraps and they'll work perfectly because we don't need a lot. You definitely need a pair of scissors. This is not necessary, but I have some yarn, and yes, this is the same yarn that I used in our Earth Day coffee filter activity. This is not necessary either, but I'm going to be using a glue stick and some glitter to add a little bit of design to my binoculars. So I'm going to show you exactly how to make these binoculars, and I'm hoping that after we create them, for another video that I'll show it probably tomorrow, I'll show you how to use them and me using them to see different birds out in my yard. And maybe they're some of the same types of birds that you have out in your yard. And I would love to hear about that. But first things first, I thought we should make our binoculars together. This is a great craft on a rainy day, maybe. So maybe you want to save it. I don't think this Saturday is supposed to be very nice. Maybe you want to save it for Saturday and then go out on Sunday and do some bird watching. So I'm going to put my video pointed down so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and I'll talk it through. And at the end, we'll have a pair of binoculars that we can keep and show our friends and family, and we will learn how to bird watch with them. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take my empty paper towel roll and my pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut just about, let's see, this much off, maybe 4.5 to 5 inches. And definitely have your parents help you if this toilet paper roll is a little stubborn and thick. Okay, let's see. Perfect. So that's all I'll need. We have one tube. Now, when you think about binoculars, you need 2 of these. So that's a good length. I'm going to stand this one up, and I'm going to need another one. So you know what? I'm going to put it side by side so I can measure it. I'm just going to take a pencil and put a little mark. Okay. This is going to be my second roll. Okay, so I have my 2 rolls that, look at that, they're already starting to look like binoculars. Now, the second step is I'm going to take my construction paper and I'm going to wrap it around my roll. Now, I'm thinking that I want to use the green for this one. And once you wrap it around, just going to put a piece of tape. And if you would rather cut it instead of wrapping it all the way around, you can use that too. You can do that. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so after I cut off the other piece that we didn't need, the excess, I went ahead and wrapped it up and made it look all nice, and this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to do the same thing to this other piece of my binocular. And you know what might be easier, boys and girls, is to cut it beforehand. So I am learning right along with you. I'm going to just measure out. I just drew a line. I measured how long across this roll goes. And so now I'm just going to cut my purple so that it matches the length. We don't really need too much. Let's see. Oh boy, I hope I hope I didn't cut it too short. Oh, perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to tape it. Make sure it lines up nice. There we go. Awesome. Look at that. So I'll hide the tape sides. I have my 2 viewers, right? That's where we put our eyes in binoculars. So now what I'm going to do is we want them to stick together, right? We don't want them to just be separate apart. So I am going to tape them together and also put some glue on it. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to glue on either side of the tape. I'm going to do it on both. So same thing on here. I'm going to put glue on either side of the tape. And now I'm going to lay them flat. And I made a little circle with tape, and you're probably going to want your parents to help you make one of these. And I'm going to lie it over the piece of tape that we already have. I'm going to make one more. So you just get a regular piece of tape and you take the back side of it and you just fold it. So it makes a little circle. And I'm going to just put this one over here. Perfect. And now, the fun part, I'm going to push them together. Oh, I hope that they line up. Perfect. Okay. So now I just put my fingers in between the tubes and I'm just pressing together so that it stays. And it's also important that you make sure that both of your viewers are even, right? So we want them to sit flat. And it's okay if you can see the tape in between. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit for around 15 minutes to give the glue some time to dry. So while our binoculars are drying, I'm going to take the piece of yarn and that piece is too short. I need a longer piece than that. I thought it would be great if we put yarn around our binoculars so that we can hang our binoculars around our neck when we're not using them so they don't get lost. So I'm going to measure out roughly 1.5 feet, and you probably don't need yours that long. You want to know why? Because Miss Keedy's head is probably bigger than yours. So I'm using around this much yarn, and I'm just going to tape the yarn. Let's get our tape again. Tape the yarn to the side of the binoculars. You don't need a big piece of tape because yarn is really light. So I'm going to tape it just to the side. And same thing on the other side. So I taped a piece of yarn there. Then I have it coming around to the other side. Make sure they're somewhat even. Perfect. Awesome. So I know it's supposed to be drying, but I am so tempted to start using these already. Okay. I'm going to let these dry for a few more minutes, and then we're going to put just some final touches on it. Today I am going to use some glitter. I'm going to use again my glue stick, but you know what? I also might use some of my markers to add some small designs to make it personalized and to make it my own. So let's give this a few more minutes to dry, and then we'll come back and add our designs. Okay, so they're pretty much dry. So I'm going to take my glue stick, just a regular glue stick. You can also use liquid glue. You don't have to use a stick form. And I'm just going to make some circles so that when I take my glitter, it makes a little design. Now, boys and girls, you're going to notice I put down a magazine from the recycling bin underneath my table because glue and glitter are very messy. So I'm just going to really lightly sprinkle some glitter. I'm going to do some more of these. And let me put my video on time lapse so you can see my progress. Okay, boys and girls, so here is what they came out like. I love how glittery they are. So I just put the yarn around my neck, and so when I'm not using them, I can go ahead and let it rest and I don't have to drop them or worry about what happens. So this is what they look like, and we're going to be using them in tomorrow's video. So I hope that you enjoyed this video on how to make your own binoculars from regular supplies that you have at home, and I will see you in tomorrow's video where we put them to use. Okay, boys and girls, have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.